Delving into darkness. What is psychological horror? Psychological horror isn't about jump scares or gore. It's about messing with your mind. These films dig into our deepest fears. They explore themes of madness, paranoia, and the fragility of the human psyche. Think unsettling images, creepy sound design, and characters on the edge. Psychological horror films often rely on suggestion and atmosphere. They leave you wondering what's real and what's not. This uncertainty creates a constant sense of dread. The fear lingers long after the credits roll. Beyond the blood, psychological versus traditional horror. Traditional horror relies on visceral thrills. Think slashers like Friday the 13th or monster movies like Jaws. These films aim to make you jump out of your seat. They use blood, guts, and special effects to shock and disgust. Psychological horror takes a different approach. It focuses on the internal rather than the external. It's about the characters' mental states, their descent into madness, and the slow burn of suspense. The scares are more psychological than physical. Masters of tension, building suspense and dread. Psychological horror thrives on tension and suspense. Filmmakers use a variety of techniques to create this unsettling atmosphere. They might use long, drawn-out shots to build anticipation. Eerie sound design with creaking doors and whispering voices adds to the unease. Red herrings and plot twists keep the audience guessing. The line between reality and delusion blurs. This constant state of uncertainty keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The Overlook Hotel, The Shining and Psychological Unraveling. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is a masterclass in psychological horror. Jack Torrance, a recovering alcoholic, becomes the winter caretaker of the isolated Overlook Hotel. The hotel's sinister history begins to prey on Jack's sanity. Kubrick uses long tracking shots, eerie music, and unsettling imagery to create a palpable sense of dread. Jack's descent into madness is slow and agonizing. The film's ambiguous ending leaves viewers questioning what was real and what was a figment of Jack's fractured mind. Section 5. The Devil Inside. The Exorcist and Our Fear of the Unknown. The Exorcist terrified audiences with its depiction of demonic possession. Released in 1973, it quickly became a cultural phenomenon, leaving an indelible mark on the horror genre. The film's chilling narrative and intense performances captivated viewers, drawing them into a world where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blur. The film's power lies in its exploration of faith, doubt, and the unknown. It delves deep into the human psyche, questioning the nature of evil and the strength of belief. The characters' struggles with their faith mirror the audience's own fears and uncertainties, making the horror all the more personal and profound. The possession of young Regan is both disturbing and deeply unsettling. Her transformation from an innocent child to a vessel of malevolent forces is portrayed with harrowing realism. This metamorphosis challenges our perceptions of innocence and corruption, making us question the fragility of our own humanity. Director William Friedkin uses practical effects and disturbing imagery to create a visceral experience. The groundbreaking special effects, combined with masterful direction, bring the horror to life in a way that feels tangible and immediate. The use of practical effects over CGI adds a layer of authenticity that heightens the terror. The film's religious themes tap into primal fears about good and evil. The battle between the priests and the demonic entity is not just a physical struggle, but a spiritual one, reflecting the eternal conflict between light and darkness. This dichotomy resonates deeply with audiences, evoking a sense of dread that lingers long after the credits roll. The Exorcist remains one of the most effective and terrifying horror films ever made. Its legacy endures, influencing countless films and continuing to haunt new generations of viewers. The film's ability to tap into universal fears and its masterful execution make it a timeless classic in the horror genre. Section 6. The Dinner Party. Get Out and the Horror of Social Anxiety. Get Out tackles the horrors of racism and microaggressions in a chillingly effective way. Chris, a young black man, visits his white girlfriend's family estate. He soon realizes something is very wrong. The film expertly builds tension through awkward interactions and subtle clues. The horror is rooted in the very real anxieties of being black in America. Get Out is both a terrifying horror film and a thought-provoking commentary on social issues. Section 7. Family Ties That Bind. Hereditary and the haunting power of grief. Hereditary explores the devastating effects of grief, mental illness, and family secrets. The film delves deep into the psychological torment that follows the loss of a loved one, portraying how grief can manifest in terrifying and unexpected ways. The Graham family is haunted by a dark presence after the death of their grandmother. This presence seems to be a manifestation of the unresolved issues and hidden secrets that have plagued the family for generations. The film masterfully intertwines supernatural elements with the very real and palpable pain of losing a family member. Director Ari Aster uses disturbing imagery and a slow-burn approach to create a sense of creeping dread. His meticulous attention to detail and the deliberate pacing of the narrative allow the horror to build gradually, making the eventual revelations all the more impactful. The use of shadows, unsettling close-ups, and the eerie atmosphere of the Graham household contribute to the film's haunting ambiance. The film's ending is both shocking and deeply unsettling. It leaves the audience with a lingering sense of unease, as the true extent of the family's curse is revealed. The climax is a culmination of the tension and dread that has been building throughout the film, delivering a powerful and unforgettable conclusion. Hereditary is a powerful exploration of the dark side of family and the ways in which trauma can be passed down through generations. It serves as a poignant reminder of the impact that our ancestors' actions and secrets can have on our lives. The film's portrayal of the Graham family's struggles with their inherited burdens is both heartbreaking and terrifying, making it a standout in the horror genre. The themes of Hereditary resonate deeply with anyone who has experienced loss or grappled with their family's past. It challenges viewers to confront their own fears and the possibility that some aspects of our lives are beyond our control. The film's exploration of grief and the supernatural serves as a powerful metaphor for the ways in which we are all haunted by our personal histories. Ultimately, Hereditary is not just a horror film, it is a profound meditation on the human condition. It forces us to face the uncomfortable truths about our own lives and the legacies we inherit. Through its chilling narrative and unforgettable imagery, Hereditary leaves an indelible mark on its audience, reminding us that the past is never truly gone and that the ghosts of our ancestors can still shape our present and future. Section 8. The Mind as a Battlefield. Psychological horror exploits our fears. Psychological horror is effective because it taps into our deepest fears and anxieties. It delves into the human mind, exploring the darkest corners where our most primal fears reside. Unlike traditional horror that relies on external threats, psychological horror turns inward, making us confront the terror within ourselves. It plays on our fear of the unknown, the dark recesses of the human psyche, and the fragility of our own sanity. The unknown is not just about what lurks in the shadows, but also about the mysteries of our own minds. What if we can't trust our own perceptions? What if our reality is not what it seems? These films make us question what we see and hear. They blur the lines between reality and illusion, making us doubt our own senses. This sense of disorientation is a key element in psychological horror, creating a pervasive sense of unease that lingers long after the movie ends. The unknown is a powerful source of fear. It taps into our primal instincts, triggering a fight-or-flight response. In psychological horror, the unknown often takes the form of unseen threats, ambiguous situations, and unresolved mysteries. This keeps the audience on edge, constantly questioning what is real and what is imagined. Psychological horror often features ambiguous endings or unexplained events. This lack of closure can be deeply unsettling, leaving the audience to grapple with their own interpretations. The unresolved nature of these stories forces us to confront our own fears and uncertainties, making the horror feel more personal and immediate. This lack of closure can be deeply unsettling, leaving the audience to grapple with their own interpretations. The ambiguity allows the horror to linger in our minds, making us question our own experiences and perceptions. In this way, psychological horror not only entertains, but also challenges us to explore the depths of our own fears and anxieties. Section 9. Lingering Shadows, the Lasting Impact of Psychological Horror. Unlike traditional horror, the scares of psychological horror linger long after the film ends. These films stay with you. They make you think about the characters, the themes, and your own deepest fears. The best psychological horror films force us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world around us. They remind us that the most terrifying monsters are often human. And sometimes, the scariest place to be is inside our own minds.